In terms of the vast majority of cryptocurrencies and financial topics, such as Ripple and XRP, guys, guess what? The New York cryptocurrency regulator just removed Ripple and Dogecoin from the token green list. First and foremost, I've always wondered why it's named Ripple. Contacting XRP Ripple has been mentioned in countless papers and other resources, but not in the news because we are all aware of it. This is not the situation in New York, as evidenced by numerous previous examples. Ripple and Dogecoin have been removed from the token green list by the cryptocurrency regulator. As a result, the New York Department of Financial Services announced an upgrade to its virtual currency supervisory system on Monday as part of the redesign, which includes new guidelines for how digital firms regulated by the agency can list various cryptocurrencies. Diaz has removed around 20 cryptocurrencies from its list of approved tokens, including XRP and Litecoin. Among the 8 tokens are Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the brand new PayPal dollars that are still on the list, so this is undoubtedly fascinating. Furthermore, we observe that Congress is still taking its time regulating cryptocurrency. The DS has made a name for itself as a top asset manager in the country thanks to its virtual currency unit and BitLicense software. This is concerning because it suggests that there are other organizations outside the SEC about which we should be concerned. We now have a Department of Financial Services to be concerned about. Of course, York serves as its hub, and as a result, we are left to worry. While this comes after Ripple's huge victory in July, notably on July 13, Ripple Labs are visible on our XRP cryptocurrency. Just won a landmark case, and routers are, of course, to a fault. This is now a substantial upgrade. In addition to Brad, garlinghouse is seen having a good time in front of the school, but we look at. This happened on the 19th, and I'm curious about what's going on. Is there any transparency? Is anything crystal clear? No, there isn't, and New York has historically been one of the weakest cryptocurrency markets. I recall the XRP case being dismissed a few months later, and I believe that Uphold was the only exchange you could legitimately use to buy XRP at the time, and I even believe that New York was suffering user blockades at the time. Even now, it's impossible to purchase any cryptocurrency in New York, which is unfortunate, but we are aware that they have been advertising this for a long time. For your inspection, below is a paper dated March 1, 2021. New York is the Bitcoin industry's leader. Attorney General Warren must follow the rules or we will shut you down. What rules, you ask? Because there is no transparency, I feel there is nearly none. Nothing is clear. Therefore, I find this intriguing, and now is this. Is this behavior going to benefit small-scale investors, or are they just playing a game? Politics probably played a role. We are aware that this would be a fairly dumb political approach, as we can see over here, to hinder crypto innovation in the United States back in March of this year. Instead of killing a sector, perhaps it might provide sufficient guidelines and management. There have been several regulatory failures. This occurred again with the anti-crypto statement, which was briefly addressed in March in this Silvergate SVB, and signatures were considered. They were winding down their operations. Furthermore, keep in mind that many of these huge banks participated in crypto, but were pro-crypto or were driven to turn against it. That's correct, and even here in the third largest bank failure, we can see why regulators seized numerous signatures. Bank. People were surprised because, as we saw what was going on, we saw the regulators and others who were turning a blind eye. Saving more substantial banks for his part during the 2008 financial crisis, Frank contributed to the development of the historic Dodd-Frank Act. There was no compelling justification for the signature to be confiscated. I believe the regulators' intention to send a strong anti-crypto message played a part in some of what happened. They effectively pushed this bank to halt operations to make a clear anti-crypto message, even though there was no fundamental insolvency. This happened again in March 2023. Next, fast forward to September 18th. Senator Warren's anti-crypto money laundering legislation is gaining traction. More people sign on Democrats make up 9 of the new backers, and please note that this has nothing to do with politics, But when a tendency continues, it becomes clear when you see that Elizabeth Warren, one of the United States Senate's most vocal opponents of cryptocurrency, has rallied some well-known figures to support her cryptocurrency legislation aimed at combating money laundering and terrorism financing. This measure was briefly discussed. Guess what's making Elizabeth Warren chuckle right now? You go. After the FTX collapse, here it is, folks, through time. Elizabeth Warren sponsored a bipartisan plan to regulate Bitcoin firms 9 months ago, which is interesting given that she is still pushing to enact this legislation. This will continue till December 14th. Using FTX as an example, we already know that Sam Bill and Elizabeth Warren were close friends, and we began to wonder whether this was all a ploy to make cryptocurrencies obsolete, which they were seeking to destroy. Are they looking for crypto or retail? Market what's going on here, since Elizabeth Warren was spouting once more. Her nonsense right after FTX, however, was not the first. She was also the next person we saw following Luna, and we're talking about a few hours after Luna's explosion, but Ryan can see it down here, and she and I can see it over here, but it's beautiful. Simply put, he claimed that Joe Bankman was the father of a freed banker who backed the tax package that Senator Elizabeth Warren proposed in April 2016. His mother runs a political action organization that helps Silicon Valley banks sponsor democratic causes. Additionally, he highlights the absurdity in Warren's reaction to the FTX collapse, in which the senator generalizes that the crypto industry requires more active enforcement, and a larger position while forgetting to mention Bankman-Fried's $39 million donation to her political party for the United States midterm elections, which is correct. These are the people who receive the donations. When you compare Elizabeth Warren's net worth to her pay, you'll realize she's also ludicrous. What happens to all the money these people have must be investigated. However, she was tweeting nonstop on November 9 about the failure of FTX was a major wake-up call to the failure of one of the largest cryptocurrency platforms, demonstrating how much of the sector appears to be made up of smoke and mirrors. The failure of FTX must serve as a reminder to Congress and financial authorities that this industry and its executives must be held accountable. According to the Federal Election Commission, Banker Fried's mother contributed $15,000 to political campaigns in 2022. Consider all of these folks. Banker Fried's political connections are noteworthy, but they go far deeper. Down below, Caroline Ellison, former CEO of FTX and CEO of Alameda Research, dated Gary Gensler. At MIT, I taught a Bitcoin course. Her father was the USDC chair employer, and she earned a physics degree. SBF graduated from MIT in 2014 and goes by the pseudonym SBF. For your convenience, here is Elon Musk's tweet from 2022. This is the most important point to emphasize. Warren Gensler is a member of the Democratic Party, which, as can be seen, received significant money from SBF. Oh, you see what I mean? We discussed everything, but no one appeared interested. Particularly interested people should. Take a look at this, which is also the cause. Gary Gensler is worth about $100 million, even though his salary is nowhere like that amount. Did meet with FTX months before the collapse, which, like this, supported our view that FTX was an inside job, so we already knew Gary Gensler had ties to the company. They needed to make a strong statement. They used it to buttress their anti-crypto narrative, and they were able to effectively conquer even more difficult responsibilities. Is it, however, effective? Are we making headway? I'm not sure it's unquestionably fascinating, but I will say that this New York remark about Ripple, Dogecoin, and Bitcoin is quite concerning, since it reveals that things are still very much in motion, but I feel everything here is political ID. Play the part for a while. It makes no difference whether you're a Democrat or a Republican. Example, I couldn't care less. You bet it affects certain things. Additionally, we can see that the Democratic lawmaker received funding from Sam Bankman-Fried, over here argued against crypto regulation, and now attributes the demise of FTX to the SEC for the duration of. It was similar to FTX at the time in that each day became more exciting. When we discover more and more connections and corruption simply illustrates that anyone can be bought with money, especially if they are elected. Officials, but as I recently stated, CEPAS, as we can see, is a mother, encouraged him to remain silent regarding several illegal political donations made by the client cash that was stolen. The FTX case alleges that rather than only going after CEPAS, all of the legislators must refund all of those monies. What we require is that they all be arrested if they do not alternatively look into it, says the complaint. That will not happen. They are higher up the food chain and hence are not investigated. They are not the issue's target. This, however, is why I bring up Operation Chill. Am I correct in saying that this was discovered here in March 2023? Take a look at this. On September 10, Senator Bill Haverty said that Operation Chill Point 2.0 is operating and wants to destroy the American Bitcoin market. Gary Gensler's crackdown is paving the way for the central bank to issue digital money. Look, I believe he is attempting to eliminate cryptocurrency through the legal system. What are your thoughts? I have complete faith in you. Are correct. We are witnessing it. From the standpoint of the regulator, Point 2.0 operations are being carried out primarily under the supervision of the FDIC and the Federal Reserve, this time the cryptocurrency. The business sector is being targeted, are creating various types of ambiguity, and the chancellor, is taking advantage of the opportunity to govern by enforcement. I mean to enforce through litigation, and this has caused a great deal of uncertainty. They're going to force all blockchain and cryptocurrency innovation offshore, and this may be their ultimate goal. They're laying the groundwork for a central bank digital currency, and you only need to look to communist China to see the danger in what they're doing with the digital currency. Communist China can use the digital yuan to decide what you can and cannot buy, as well as where you can and cannot spend your money, and they are currently promoting that on a global scale. We should be concerned about what Gary Gensler and all of these actors are doing because it is all political. It is part of Operation Chill Point 2.0. It is in reality political. It is put to the test. Eleanor Tourette, the date is March 13, and we are all aware that it looks over here as well. Signature Bank Board member Barney Frank claims, politics contributed to the bank's downfall. I believe the regulators' desire to send a strong anti-crypto message played a part in some of what happened. This is being brought up again because a member of the board claims it was political. This is a challenge. It is undeniable that Operation Chill Point 2.0 was intended to drive out crypto, native companies, and bring in sizable traditional firms friendly with the U.S. government to control Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies even as recently as June, when discussing BlackRock's spot ETF if it is approved, and now that we've kind of seen that analyze what happened to Ripple and XRP, and then analyze what happened to all of the large firms, including Jake Morgan, PayPal, and the Citi. All of these companies are comparable to major banks and traditional financial institutions. Competitors move faster than Bitcoin startups because they desire control. They aim to throttle down crypto-native enterprises while supporting established players. What's more, players like the New York crypto authorities are currently removing these tokens off the green list owing to a lack of openness and clarity regarding crypto rules and regulations. This is ludicrous to me. However, please share your thoughts in the comments box below, share your perspectives with me, and give a like. If you like the video, subscribe and activate channel notifications.